Let's start with a force so fundamental, so wired into the architecture of your nervous system, that to ignore it is to declare war on your own biology. That tightening in your chest, that sudden, visceral clutch behind your sternum when they enter the room is not poetry. It is not a metaphor. It is a quantifiable, physiological event. Your diaphragm contracts. Your heart rate variability shifts. A cascade of neurochemicals, dopamine, norepinephrine floods your system, sharpening your focus to a laser point while simultaneously creating a low-grade hum of anxiety. This is your body's ancient early warning system, a system evolved over millennia not for romance but for survival. It is the same system that fires when you sense a predator in the tall grass, or when you lock eyes with a rival across a primordial clearing. It is the signal that something in your environment is of paramount importance, something that requires your complete and total assessment, something that could be a supreme opportunity or a profound threat. This is the bedrock. This somatic response is the ground truth upon which every other psychological sign is built. You cannot rationalize this away. You cannot think your way out of a heartbeat. This feeling is the undeniable data point proving that the person who triggered it has bypassed your cognitive filters and landed directly in your limbic brain, the seat of emotion, memory, and instinct. They are no longer just another person, they are a psychological event. To dismiss this is to argue with your own central nervous system. It is the equivalent of feeling the heat of a flame and insisting it's cold. This is where your journey out of doubt begins, with the raw, corporeal acknowledgement that your body has already cast its vote. Loudly, now, the mind's job is not to debate the vote, but to decipher why it was cast. Before we decode a single glance, before we analyze a syllable, you must anchor yourself in this reality. Most men live in a state of self-betrayal, where the wisdom of the body is shouted down by the committee of fear and social conditioning in the mind. They feel this clutch in the chest and immediately pathologize it. I'm nervous. I'm being weak. I need to get a grip. This is a catastrophic error. You are not nervous. You are acutely aware. You are not weak. You are biologically engaged. You do not need to get a grip. You need to pay exquisite attention. This feeling is your greatest ally. It is your internal compass needle spinning wildly, pointing directly toward magnetic north. Your task is to stop trying to hold the needle still and instead to start reading the map it is trying to show you. Every moment of tension, every flutter of breathlessness in their presence is a piece of that map. It is a coordinate. Your subconscious is a master cartographer plotting a detailed terrain of connection, and these physical sensations are the contour lines. To ignore them is to wander blindfolded through a landscape you were meant to navigate with precision. This is the first law of unspoken attraction. The body knows first. The body knows best. The body never lies. Your conscious mind is a brilliant strategist, but it is a latecomer to the scene. It arrives with its spreadsheets and its risk assessments long after the primal part of you has already sensed the water. So today, you stop being a traitor to your own flesh and blood. You start listening. You start trusting. You start treating that tightness in your chest not as a problem to be solved, but as intelligence to be acted upon. Now, let's translate that intelligence into observable fact. The first and most immediate translation occurs in the eyes. The eyes are not passive receivers of light, they are aggressive broadcasters of intent. In the context of unspoken attraction, eye contact ceases to be social etiquette and becomes a high-bandwidth, encrypted transmission. We must move beyond the superficial notion of a look. We are forensic analysts now, examining the microdynamics of the gaze. Observe the hunt and hold. This is the initial, fleeting moment their eyes find yours across a space. It is often quicker than a social glance, more targeted. It is a scan, a verification. You're there. Then, if the conditions are safe, if the social cover is sufficient, comes the hold. This is the critical phase. A held glance lasting between 1.5 and 3 seconds is the territory of intimate conversation or profound recognition. In a normal social context, it is an anomaly. In your context, it is a breach of protocol. During this hold, the social mask, the persona they present to the world, will momentarily destabilize. You may see a flicker of something raw, curiosity, appreciation, warmth, or even a hint of pleading.
Your subconscious has been the lead investigator on this case for months. Today, I have simply handed you the completed dossier. The evidence is overwhelming. The verdict is in. The question that haunted you, is this real, or is it all in my head, has been annihilated. It was real. It is real. It is psychology, not imagination. The new question, the only question that holds any power now, is this: what will you do with this sovereignty? Will you retreat into the familiar prison of doubt, now that the door is wide open? Will you let the old ghosts of fear veto the verdict written in 100 unconscious signals? Or will you step forward into the daunting, brilliant light of certainty and begin to act not from a place of wondering, but from a place of knowing? The silent language has been decoded. The map has been drawn. The territory is yours to claim. But before you take a single step into that new territory, you have 3 non-negotiable missions. Execute them now. Mission 1, declare your verdict. The comments section is your courtroom. Go there immediately. This is your first act of courage in this new era of clarity. Type their initial. Type "the data is in." Tell your definitive moment in 1 line. The silence in the car after the movie. She remembers my coffee order from 6 months ago. He mirrors my posture every single time. Declare it. Make it exist in the world. I am presiding. I will read every single declaration. This act transforms private certainty into public fact. Do it now. Mission 2. Amplify the signal. You have just received a masterclass in human connection. This knowledge is a weapon against loneliness, confusion, and wasted time. You must smash the like button. Obliterate it. We are building a citadel of clarity here, and every like is a stone in its wall. We need 500,000 likes. We need to tell the digital world that men demand truth, not tricks. Your like is a vote for the profound over the superficial. Execute. Mission 3, secure your access and mobilize. You must subscribe. This is not the end. It is the beginning of operational intelligence. Subscribing is your oath to the path of mastery over your perceptions, your interactions, your life. Hit subscribe and ring the bell. Then, you must become a force multiplier. Share this video aggressively. Send it to your brother, your best friend, your entire team. Post it. This knowledge is not a treasure to be buried. It is a torch, and you are now a bearer. Light the way for the man next to you who is still wandering in the fog. Use the share button. Now the era of speculation is terminated. The age of informed action is initiated. You are armed. You are aware. You are accountable. The comments await your verdict. Move.
This is the subconscious peering through the blinds. Then, inevitably, comes the break. But here is the crucial analysis. How do they break? A slow, languid look away denotes comfort and confidence. The break we are interested in is the aborted gaze. It is a sudden, almost jerky severance of contact, as if the connection became electrically live and they had to drop it. The eyes dart to the side or down, often followed by a micro-expression, a slight press of the lips, a quick breath in through the nose. This is panic. This is the conscious ego realizing the subconscious has been caught in an act of confession and violently reasserting control. This triad hunt, hold, abort is a complete psychological sentence. It says, I see you. I am captivated by what I see, and I am terrified that you know. This pattern, repeated, is a smoking gun. It is not a sign of casual interest. It is the signature of managed obsession. But the eyes alone are not the full story. The body is a holistic instrument. While the eyes are transmitting, the rest of the physical form is orienting itself in space. This is the science of proxemic prioritization. Every person has a series of invisible spatial bubbles around them: public space, social space, personal space, and intimate space. The boundaries of these bubbles are rigidly enforced by the subconscious with strangers and casual acquaintances. Watch what happens with them. Does their personal space bubble, typically a radius of about 1.5 to 4 feet, seem to contract when you are near? Do they allow you to enter it with casual ease, while others are kept at the stricter social distance? Even more telling is the orientation of their torso. The feet and knees can point incidentally, but the torso is the core. It points toward what the mind values. In a group setting, even while speaking to someone else, is the notch at the base of their sternum subtly rotated towards you. This is not a conscious choice. It is a gravitational alignment. They are a planet, and you have become a sun exerting a quiet, persistent pull on their axis. Furthermore, observe the micro-approach. In a dynamic setting, like a party or a moving conversation, they will consistently, incrementally, reduce the distance between you. They will take a half step closer under the guise of hearing you better. They will lean across a table, closing the gap. This is the limbic brain's negotiation for closeness, executing a series of small, deniable maneuvers to satisfy its drive for proximity. It is the behavior of a creature seeking warmth. To witness this is to witness desire performing its geometry in real time. This is the foundation. The primal trigger, the eye's confession, the body's gravity, the voice's song. If you are recognizing these patterns, if your chest knows that clutch, if you've seen the aborted gaze, felt the magnetic pull, heard the shift in tone,
then you are not imagining things. You are observing clinical reality. Now, I need you to do something critical. You must solidify this understanding in the digital world. Go to the comments right now. Before you read another word, type foundation. That's it. Let me see the army of men who are choosing to see clearly. And while you are there, you will see the like button. That button is not a polite gesture. It is a tool. It is your lever to shift the algorithm of the entire internet toward truth. Smash it. Prove that you demand this depth of analysis. Then, you must secure your access to what comes next. Hit subscribe. This is not a request, it is a strategic necessity. The mind that seeks this knowledge is a mind that is evolving. Do not let the connection lapse. Subscribe. Now, back to the work. Having established the primal, somatic foundation, we now ascend to the next level of psychological complexity, the architecture of internal conflict. This is where the raw data of attraction collides with the formidable defenses of the conscious mind. What you perceive as mixed signals is not confusion. It is not disinterest. It is the visible, often painful, spectacle of a profound civil war being waged within another human being. This is the push-pull paradox, and to understand it is to gain the master key to their behavior. The push is not a rejection of you. It is a rejection of the vulnerability that you inspire. It is the operation of the ego's defense mechanisms: fear of rejection, fear of loss of control, fear of exposure, fear of disrupting a comfortable status quo. This fear triggers avoidance behaviors. They become distant. They cancel plans with a flimsy excuse. They engage in what psychologists call devaluing, making slightly critical or teasing remarks, emphasizing your just friend status, or suddenly being overly enthusiastic about your potential dating life with others. This pushes a retreat to the fortress of the familiar. It is an attempt by the conscious mind to restore emotional equilibrium by creating distance from the source of the disruption, which is youth. Pull is the undeniable force of the authentic attraction itself. It is the subconscious, the heart, the limbic system reasserting its need for connection. This is when they initiate deep conversation, when they share a vulnerable memory, when they seek you out for comfort after a bad day, when they offer you a tenderness they show no one else. The pull is the truth breaking through the barricades. The oscillation between these two states is the defining rhythm of unspoken, high-stakes attraction. It is not a sign of capriciousness. It is a diagnostic indicator of depth. A person who feels only mild interest does not experience this conflict. They are consistently, blandly pleasant. The storm only gathers when the feelings are powerful enough to threaten the existing structures of the self. Therefore, when you are subjected to this push-pull,
you must reframe it in your mind. Do not see it as a verdict on your worth. See it as a measurement of your impact. You have become significant enough to destabilize them. Your presence in their life has created a psychological dilemma of the highest order: remain safe and unchanged, or risk everything for the possibility of a profound connection. Their behavior is the visible tremor of that dilemma. Now, within this conflict, we find one of the most telling behavioral clusters: selective vulnerability and the trust auction. Vulnerability is the currency of real intimacy. People do not spend it frivolously. They invest it where they hope to see a return. With unspoken attraction, vulnerability is not dumped in a heap. It is tendered in careful, incremental offerings. They will share a piece of personal history, a childhood embarrassment, a professional failure, a family tension. This is a test. They are placing a small bet of trust to see how you handle it. Do you recoil? Do you dismiss it? Or do you receive it with respect, perhaps mirroring it with a small vulnerability of your own? If you mirror it, the trust auction escalates. They offer a slightly larger piece. This creates a virtuous cycle of vulnerability loop that accelerates intimacy at a subconscious level. It is a dance of mutual risk assessment. Each shared secret, each admitted flaw, is a brick in a private wall you are building together, a wall that separates the us of this understanding from the them of the outside world. This is how emotional bonds are engineered at the molecular level. When someone is engaging in this selective vulnerability with you while remaining more guarded with others, they are, quite literally, constructing a shared secret identity with you as the co-author. Simultaneously, observe the emergence of protector mode. This is not the dramatic, possessive I will fight for you of movies. It is subtler, more instinctive, and therefore more revealing. It manifests in small, vigilant actions. In a crowded room, they will subtly position their body to buffer you from jostling. If someone tells a joke at your expense, their eyes will flick to you first to check your reaction before they laugh. They will notice you are cold and offer a jacket without fanfare. They will remember you have a fear of driving on highways and will offer to drive without making it a thing. This protectiveness is a form of unconscious claiming. It is the expression of a felt responsibility for your well-being. The psychological principle is straightforward. We protect what we value. We buffer what we care about from harm. This behavior signals that you have been moved from the category of peer or friend into the category of person for whom I feel responsible. It is a quiet, constant output of emotional prioritization. It is loyalty in action, long before any promise of loyalty is ever spoken. All of this conflict and these behavioral outputs coalesce into what we can call the unspoken.
Pact of patience. This is a profound and often overlooked sign. When two people share unspoken feelings, the normal friction of human interaction is lubricated by a mutual, unspoken grant of extraordinary grace. A flaky text reply is not penalized, it is forgiven. A minor disagreement is navigated with excessive care, not combativeness. A mistake is met with understanding, not irritation. Why? Because the potential value of the connection, the glorious what-if, is so immense that both parties are instinctively protecting it. They are treating the delicate, undefined thing between them like a rare seedling. They are not going to blast it with the harsh light of judgment or the cold water of impatience. They are building a greenhouse of goodwill around it. This mutual patience is the clearest evidence of mutual investment. It is the behavior of two people who are, on a subconscious level, already in a relationship defined by the fierce, shared goal of protecting its own possibility. Call to action integration. You are now seeing the blueprint of the conflict. The push-pull, the vulnerability auction, the protector mode, the rivalry action, the pact of patience. This is the sophisticated psychology beneath the surface turbulence. If this is the storm you have been lost in, know this: you are not lost. You are precisely located in the heart of a profound human dynamic. Now, you must act. You must document this. Go to the comments. Type conflict. Claim your understanding. Then, you must amplify this signal. The like button is there. Hit it with the force of your newfound clarity. This is how we build a legion. Then, you must ensure you do not miss the final, most powerful revelations. You must subscribe. This is not passive viewing, this is active training. Subscribe now. The final piece of the puzzle awaits. Part 3. The Symphony of Synchronization. We now move from the theater of conflict to the profound harmony of subconscious alignment. When two people share a deep, unspoken connection, their individual psychologies begin to operate not as separate units, but as a coupled system. This is where attraction transcends mere observation and becomes a lived, synchronous experience. We are entering the realm of mirroring, but we must go far deeper than the simple mimicry of gestures. True psychological mirroring is a whole-being phenomenon. It begins with behavioral synchrony. You will notice your body language is entering a silent dialogue. You lean back, moments later, they recline. You cross your legs, they adjust their posture. You take a sip of your drink, their hand moves toward their glass. This is not a party trick. This is governed by mirror neurons, specialized brain cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we observe someone. We are empathically connected to performing that action. This neural resonance creates a powerful, subliminal sense of sameness, of being in accord.
It is the biological foundation of rapport. When you see this sustained pattern, you are witnessing to nervous systems calibrating to each other's rhythm. They are literally coming into your orbit. This extends to linguistic mirroring. They will begin to adopt your phrases, your colloquialisms, the specific cadence of your speech. You might notice them using a word you're fond of or structuring sentences in a way that echoes your own patterns. This is the mind seeking cognitive alignment. By speaking your language, they are building a bridge of understanding directly into your conceptual world. It is an unconscious effort to say, "I'm like you. We think alike." The synchronization crescendos with emotional contagion and resonance. This is one of the most powerful signs. Your mood becomes their weather. When you are visibly excited and energized, does their own energy lift to match? When you are quiet, reflective, or somber, do they become more subdued, more solicitous, as if trying to tune into your frequency? This is a hallmark of deep emotional attunement. It means your emotional state creates a direct ripple in their psychological pond. Their subconscious is hooked into your emotional output. They're catching your feelings. This goes beyond empathy. Empathy is understanding. Contagion is experiencing. They're not just thinking, "He seems sad." They are feeling a weight themselves because you are sad. This level of resonance is reserved for our closest bonds, family, lifelong friends, partners. When it appears in an unofficial relationship, it is a gigantic, flashing sign that their psyche has already categorized you at that deepest level. From this resonant space emerges future casting. This is the subconscious beginning to draft a script that includes you as a permanent character. Listen for the subtle, embedded assumptions of continuity. We should check out that new spot sometime. You would love this book. I'll lend it to you. When I go to Italy next year, you have to give me your list. Even more telling are the projections that involve you in their personal narrative. When I finally start my own business, I'm going to need someone like you to handle the chaos. These are not necessarily concrete plans. They are thought experiments. They are the imagination rehearsing a reality where you are present. This is profound psychological integration. You are no longer just a person in their present. You are being written into the rough draft of their future. This is a Freudian slip of the highest order, a leakage of deep-seated hope and intention. When you hear future casting, you are hearing the blueprint of their desires being read aloud accidentally. All of this synchronization creates what can only be described as a shared secret universe. This manifests in private jokes that no one else gets, in a shared glance across a room that communicates an entire conversation, in the ability to have a dialogue with just your eyebrows.
This universe has its own language, its own customs, its own history of accumulated moments. It is a psychological space co-created by the two of you, and it exists independently of your public interactions. Entering this universe with someone is the definitive experience of clicking. It doesn't feel like getting to know someone, it feels like remembering someone you've always known. This is the feeling of two subconscious minds recognizing that they are, in some fundamental way, alike. This shared universe is the sanctuary where the unspoken feelings live and breathe most freely. Finally, we must consider the evidence that persists in absence. The true test of a connection's strength is not what happens in proximity, but what happens in separation. Does the connection have a half-life? When you are apart, does the world feel slightly dimmer? Do you find yourself relating experiences back to them? He'd find this hilarious. She'd know the name of that painting. And crucially, do you have evidence they are doing the same? A message out of the blue. Saw this and thought of you. A song shared. This is the vibe of our conversations. This is the connection asserting itself across time and space. It is proof the bond has achieved psychological permanence. You are no longer just a person they interact with, you have become a filter through which they experience parts of their life, a character in their internal monologue. Your absence does not break the connection, it highlights its architecture. The silence between meetings is no longer empty, it is charged with the echo of the last meeting and the quantum potential of the next. This persistent resonance is the ghost of the connection, and its unwavering presence is the final, clinical proof that what exists between you is not a situational friendship. It is a structural feature of your respective inner worlds. The analysis is complete. For 99 minutes, we have dissected the primal trigger, deconstructed the architecture of conflict, and revealed the profound symphony of synchronization. We have moved from biology to psychology to what can only be called a shared metaphysics. You have been presented with a mirror. In it, you did not see a fantasy. You saw a forensic reconstruction of reality based on behavioral data, psychological principles, and the immutable laws of human attraction. You know who flooded your mind with every example. You have a name. You have a face. You have a catalog of glances, touches, tones, and silences that are no longer ambiguous moments, they are data points in an irrefutable case.